Well, there it is. Saturday morning. Just finished breakfast. Red chilaquiles. Orange juice and coffee. As always. It's a Saturday morning breakfast with the Epic Beard and Dave. It's about 9:30. It's about 72 degrees and sweaty. The church ladies are here today. They were here early. Sometimes I can get in and out before they get here, so I don't bother them, and I can do this. Watched a video last night. I guess it was from Hawaii. The lady from New York that's running for Congress, freshman Congress, who's a socialist. And we were this girl from Hawaii was videotaping and walking up and asking people, what was democratic socialism and how does it differ from socialism? And it's amazing how many just spewed crap, nothing to do with either, and basically couldn't define it and explain it. These are those moments where you wish you were there, that you could say something. You could walk up and say something and say, no, I can't help it. Democratic socialism is a buzzword, a marketing ploy to try and get you to buy into just socialism, to turn your country over to socialism. And we can all go on a diet, and we can all be just like Venezuela and like Brazil. Believe it or not, Brazil dumped most of their socialist corrupt socialist government officials. And but the problem is they've the economy's so jacked up they don't know if they can ever recover, if they will ever recover. And it's just sad. That's what socialism does, people. Spain is socialist. Has a very fragile economy right now. Has since the home boom, where they almost crumbled. Greece, who was required to pass all sorts of austerity measures to reduce their overhead because of their socialism, and that was given to them by Merkel, the socialist leader of Germany. And it's sad. It's just sad. It's that the millennials, the generation before, my mother was right. Khrushchev was right. So they won't conquer us now. We won't through your children. We will do it through your children's children, or your great-grandchildren, or your grandchildren. And that's what they're doing. That's what they've done. Whatever their strategy was. Sure. Whatever their strategy was, it worked. Ours was the break. The Soviet Union, Russia, and communism, socialism, economically, they couldn't compete with our war spending, our military spending, and other spending, and couldn't compete on the technological levels the space program, just to try and stay ahead of it, just about ruined them. Thank you. And then when Reagan proposed Star Wars, I believe they tried to jump at it, and they looked at their books and said, "There's no way. We don't have the money. There's no way. Can't pay for our douches and whatnot if we do this." So communism fell, or socialism fell. With the anger of a great deal of the millennials that's out there, that if we were to move into this direction, history again will repeat itself as it did in the early part of the 20th century, in the middle of the 20th century. People will be re-educated or disappear. It's and it's become very, very easy to just like talk to somebody and then suddenly be considered a racist or a Nazi, because for one, you just don't agree with them, and they don't even want to know why or what. They don't want to look at any of it. They just want to, well, if you don't agree with me, you're a fucking Nazi. God never intended that you and I should know evil by experiencing it for ourselves. God's desire is that we'll see what goes on in the next few years. Another thing I've been reading and seeing is a lot of people are kind of angry at Jeff Sessions. I personally think, this is my opinion, this is my view, and this is based off of his Senate hearings, as he talked about the law. I think Sessions, as people working on Hillary and others, and just clear the swamp thing, and he hasn't made a move, and he hasn't said anything, and he hasn't done anything because he's putting together a case. He's putting together an airtight case, a perfect case, an undeniable case, with tons and tons and tons of evidence, over and over again. And I think it's slow work. I think it is to get all their ducks in a row, and he wants to make sure that there's nothing left out. There's nothing fallible or missing in his case. I mean, seriously, I think he wants her. Excuse me. I think he's trying to do that. And maybe they have it, but they're waiting for a strategy. They're waiting to pull the pin close to the time of this election, or maybe 5 or 6 months out on 2020. We'll see. I do have a stinking suspicion that the Dems are not going to do as well in this election as they seem to predict or think they will. I think the lady from New York, from just listening to her, has a good chance of not winning. It's the primary system, but at least New York has the ability to vote for somebody from another party or somebody different than we do in California. For instance, the open U.S. Senator seat, you have and I don't know why it's got to be, maybe it's automatic or whatever, but you have Dianne Feinstein versus another Democrat. And he actually, I guess she had to run, as I read somewhere that he got more votes than she did. So maybe there's Democrats that are tired of her. They're tired of they will say anything to keep their job. I'd rather have somebody might go against what I'm for. This year, the same as they did 20 or 30 years ago. I would like a little consistency, a little honesty. But, if you're going to talk about illegal immigration and how bad it was 5, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and now we must have an open border, and we must, fix or whatever it is to the immigration system, and we must do something for these DACAs or whatever, and not look at the law. A little bit, yeah. And, what's the point? What's the freaking point? Anyways, it's hot, it's sweaty, and the sun's starting to burn this cloud cover off a little bit. It's got an open hole. I don't want to go too long because the church ladies are here. And I don't want to bother them. I just want to quietly sit here and enjoy my coffee. It's what made Colombia a country. If you're interested in any of this or following any of this, or curious, do look into it. Don't go to the mainstream news. Don't go to. You're not going to hear it on CNN or MSNBC. All you're going to hear is Trump. Trump. You're not going to hear anything that's going on in the world or anything else, and you're not going to hear anything else happening in this country. It's all I can say is from everything I'm seeing, besides us making a complete political 180, there's no longer a rule of law in this country. So you tell me. Seriously, I'm willing to listen, and I'm not going to call you names. I don't have to agree with you, but I don't need to call you names, and you don't need to call me names. So, I don't know. We need something to happen. We really, really, really need something to happen. One thing I'm doing is I'm looking for vintage bookstores because I want to buy some various copies of the Constitution and the Declaration, little book, handbook, or whatever, that kind of book. Because I want something to compare when I check the internet. Because, scholars and teachers and whatnot no longer view Wikipedia as a reliable source of information that you write a report on. I can go in there and edit anything I want. I don't know how many people fact check it or go back over it and delete it or what, but Wikipedia is open-ended. In one way that's good, in another way that's a nightmare. What I'm worried about is those that want to go in and change the Constitution and start to rewrite history and start to change it on the internet, because people don't go to libraries. There's really no libraries anymore, and people don't go to or pick up a book and cross-reference everything. They just go to the internet and they go to one or two sites and they get their information, and no matter what it says, that's what they believe and that's what they'll put in. So you just write what you want. I mean, years ago there was talk of editing Mark Twain, like Huckleberry Finn or whatever, getting rid of certain words, changing a character's name, and that's what they said they were going to do, but then how much of it was they going to rewrite, And to me, that's sacrilege, man. It's like inviting everyone over to have for dinner, and you're barbecuing your baby to feed them. I mean, that's just unreal. I mean, if you were to teach that in school, or give it to your child or whatever to read, then you need to sit down with them and explain to them, the language here is from the 18-somethings, and that's the way people talk, and that's the way they identified people as. And it doesn't make it right, but it doesn't make it wrong. It's just the way it was. And see, you look out today, and you see the difference. We don't use that language anymore. We don't talk like that. We don't treat people like that anymore. So you see how we've grown? And Mark Twain is a good example of looking at a point in time and how time has changed, as well as just being a good author and writing a decent book. I got nothing against his books. I mean, I love him. He has funny moments. But it's period pieces and it's period humor and whatnot. And it's good to understand how people were and people lived and thought in those days. I think, get a better understanding of ourselves as individuals and ourselves as nations and our families and the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, it's a good example of evolution. Darwin talked about a physical evolution of how you modified your body, you changed things, like a bird changed his beak because the food source changed, or his other old food source disappeared or died off, and he had to move to the one that he wasn't using, but he now has to use. So his beak narrowed and lengthened a little bit and whatever. And he's still basically the same bird, but he's changed a little bit, and it's just hilarious. It is just hilarious. And this is, it's not hilarious so much as it's a form of evolution. It's not physical, it's emotional, and it's societal. And society changed here. It grew up. It adapted to a different food source. A new way to survive, a new way to get along. We're better. I think we're better people than we were. But there's a little de-evolution out there. I don't know. Anyways, it's Saturday. It's damn near 10. I can't see the clock inside. And I think you should all have a good Saturday. I'm going to go home and take care of a couple things. Maybe take another shower because it's just sweaty. And finish my walk. Maybe get some errands done. I don't know. I don't know, all the occurrences that happened to him, but he knew it was because his mom was praying. And my mom has an experience. Check on who the star of the day is on TCM and maybe watch a couple movies. How maybe your kids are dating someone, that are a good person, right? But they're not. Anyways, or maybe even let me just say, finish. Finnish, Danish, Swedish, didn't work. Finnish, Danish, Finnish, Swedish. What I'm doing is hitting the finish button. It's not working, so I'm